Peter Sidwell and welcome to Simply Good Food TV. I am out in the kitchen garden and I wanted to show you some great ways to cook out and about using my beautiful primer stove, and some little tips really on how to sort of take your outdoor and camping kind of cookery to the next level. I've got a beautiful flat iron steak here, and my little tip is when you buy them, put them into, ask your butcher if he'll vac pack them just with a little splash of olive oil, speak nicely to him, and then bang them in the freezer and then take them out with you frozen. Not only do they help your cool bag stay cool and they slowly defrost, and then by the time you're ready to cook at some point in the day, hey bingo, they are thawed, ready to go. And they're pre-marinated in a little bit of olive oil. Now I haven't put any salt or anything in these because that will draw moisture out. So, got a hot pan here getting really, really lovely and hot. Don't need any oil in there, got everything in here. So, I get my little Primus cooking kit, which I'm kind of loving. Okay, so we'll open this out and I am going to season it up with Salternative. Now, more and more people are now trying to reduce salt intake. Seaweed, beautiful way to do it. Mushrooms, dried wild mushrooms, seaweed. But this Salternative is with kombu seaweed. Delicious, really, really good. So I'm going to add some of that in. In we go. And kind of season it all up and get everything going. In fact, I'm going to take it out. It's going to be okay. So I'll pop a little bit of that oil in there, ready to cook. That sounds like a good noise to me. And then season it all up. Now I've got some pepper in here as well. So I'm going to give the salt a miss on this recipe because I've got a ton of seaweed in here. It's got that natural kind of seaweedy flavour. So a flat iron steak, delicious. Hot pan and in it goes. Isn't that just the best noise? Okay, so we'll season that up there, a little bit on there, and let that cook. Now, let me flip this over. Okay, I can get rid of our salt now. So I want to make kind of a one pot dish really. I want to kind of season it, create all this wonderful kind of flavourings really. So I've got a little bit of rocket leaf here, I've got some parsley, I've got some chives, spring onions, I've got a shallot here. Now, I pack all my little bits in a little tin. So they're all there, they're ready to go, okay? So I've got my shallot. I'm just going to slice it up. And we're going to make something nice and tangy to kind of work with it. Not a sauce, more of a bit of a sort of salsa. Somewhere between a salsa and a salad, okay? So slice up those shallots, put them to one side. Got some garlic. Bit of red chilli for a little kick. Now I tend to just sort of slice it up because then if you don't want the heat you can kind of fish around it, but if you chop it up really, really fine, it's in there for good. So you'll notice I'm just not even touching that steak, just leave it, let it do its thing. Don't be tempted to fiddle with it, otherwise you don't end up with that beautiful sort of seared caramelization. You end up with a steak that's kind of cooking in juices and it's not good. It's not the way it needs to be. Spring onions, okay? All washed but left with the elastic bands on as a bunch so that I can just shred through them all at once, okay? So they're going to give us a bit of a tang, bit of crunch. They're going to be lovely. Flat leaf parsley, big fan of the flat leaf me. Not so much of the curly. And then some chives, just chop them clean off, get rid of that bit. These are actually garlic chives, so they're going to be a really good flavour. There we go. Now I've got some rosemary. I'm just going to chop this, I'm going to get it on the steak, get some flavour on there. Beef and rosemary, big friends, work really well together. And then hopefully I've got some thyme here as well. Straight from the garden is always the best way in my opinion. Okay, there we go. Right, so, and then I've got some chorizo. Brilliant for outdoor cooking because it's ambient, it can sit at room temperature, and it has just got bags and bags of flavour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it up about 1/2 centimetre thick, and I'm going to add this to the frying pan now. There we go. By adding this chorizo now, we're going to release all the fats and the flavours. So let's just grab my spoon and just, you can see the chorizo now is starting, look at that, it's starting to seep out all its natural fats and flavours and juices. But we're going to bring it on a little bit, we're going to add some butter, okay? Going to let that do its thing, push it over there, and just watch, because there's something very beautiful about watching it all bubble and cook. Okay, so we've been cooking now for about 3 or 4 minutes. I haven't touched the steak yet, I've just left it. I'm using a cast aluminium pan here, made by Kitchen Craft, brilliant for taking outdoors, because it performs like a cast iron, but it's only got the weight of aluminium, so it is brilliant for packing and taking out there. So let's just turn this steak over, see what we've got. Oh, look at that. That for me looks absolutely delicious. That needs 2 or 3 more minutes in the pan, and then it needs taking off, leaving to rest before we do anything else. So look at all those amazing flavours and this lovely juices, okay? This steak is looking amazing. People are gonna flock for this one. So just move the chorizo around a little bit, it's just kind of doing its thing, it's releasing all the flavour, all the juices. Let's turn the steak over and kind of move it around. Let it mop up all those flavours. Oh, this is looking delicious, I must say. Right, this steak for me is looking about done. So I'm actually going to remove the steak and just pop it to one side and just let it sit and rest. I'm just going to nick a little bit of the juices and just pour that on. I don't want to lose them all. Definitely not. There we go. Now I'm going to turn this primer stove off because it has done its job. It has served me proud. There we go. So while all that's going on, what I'm going to do is actually, now Sophie a little bit makes some amazing dressings and sauces and stuff, and she told me about dressing warm beef with this one. So this one is fresh parsley and red onion. So it's not just for your salads. So I'm just going to drop a little bit on there, and it's just, because the steak is porous, its pores are open, it's ready, it's to absorb flavour. Okay, so let's just let that sit in that lovely dressing, and all the meat juices, the chorizo, the little bit salad dressing are all getting together and bringing this beautiful natural sauce. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so rocket leaf just over there. So I'm going to get my shallots in. I'm going to get my spring onions in. There we go. And then in with the herbs. That's it. You could serve some, you could chuck some new potatoes in here if you had them. Some chunks of bread would be quite good. And just kind of make that dressing, that sauce. So I'm going to add these meat juices back in the pan, because they're all looking good to me. Touch more of the salad dressing. That's it. And that is done. All we got to do is plate this up. So I'll move this to one side. I'm going to lift this beautiful flat iron steak. Look at that. Looking good. And then we're going to carve this up. So now it's had a little rest. All the juices are now sort of just relaxed. So the beef is just kind of tender and chilled and ready. I'm going to cut the whole thing. So this one steak easily going to serve 2. Depends how big a mountain you've climbed. We're sat here out in the garden, so you know, bringing your camping stove out into the garden, why not? Sit out in this. Okay, so I'm just going to take this steak and just sit it there This is one of those dishes, don't mess with it. Don't mess around with it, just enjoy it. Get me spoon. There we go, let's just pop a little bit of that, just sit it on top. Serve it up with whatever you like. There we go. And I'm just going to finish it with that tiny little bit more. And there we go. That is a beautiful hanger steak served with chorizo, spring onions, shallots, chilli, fresh herbs from the garden, and a little bit of parsley and red onion salad dressing.